Welcome back to the Back Corner. This is your host, Zach, your ringmaster of ridiculous and the one true Bone Daddy. Really quick, a couple of things. This episode took a whole hell of a lot longer than I expected to get done. Things here at the Back Corner have been kind of crazy lately. So some of the news that I talk about in this episode is a little bit out of date. Couple of things. Ed Skrein has dropped out of the Hellboy reboot, citing whitewashing. He didn't want to cause any more problems as far as Hollywood casting was concerned. He felt like if he could drop out and give the role to someone more suited for it, that would be a great thing to do. So he decided to do that. And the Friday the 13th patch has come out. The update is out. It's live. It's good. So go check that out. So with that stuff out of the way, sit back, enjoy. You Can't Kill Stephen King. Welcome to the Back Corner, the show that rants and raves about everything in horror you've probably never heard of. I am your host, Zach. This is it. New format starts tonight. Everything is going to be a little bit different from here on out. As the title would suggest you to believe, we're going to be covering a film tonight called You Can't Kill Stephen King. Now, we're going to get to that here in just a little bit. First, we're going to cover some news. That's going to be a new thing that we're going to do. We're going to cover some news, then we're going to get into the reviews. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about the Friday the 13th game. They've had a lot of stuff going on here lately. They've updated the website tremendously. They have added a place specifically for you to report any bugs. More specifically, I think, just to cover the various problems that occur when Jason tries to kill people, because it does have a tremendous problem right now. Jason will get like halfway through it, and then it'll just kind of, crap out and just kind of half-ass finish. But it's okay. It's okay. It happens. I mean, the game's a glorified indie game. I mean, come on, cut it a little bit. Give it a break. They've posted some photos of black circles that have a blue circle filled in one of the black ones. It's in two different locations in both of the pictures, and so far nobody has any idea what that means. Now, they have said we're going to be getting a new Jason soon, so everybody is expecting it to be the fake Jason from Part 5, the guy with the blue chevrons on his mask that nobody likes. They said, talking about that image, we're not ready to reveal any information about this image. Here's one thing that we can say: this isn't just a random image. So this is important, but they're not telling us how yet. Well, we'll find out soon. There is going to be an entirely new map pulled directly from the films. Haven't given us any clues as to what that's going to be. There's going to be a lot of changes coming to the game soon and a new patch update. I have included the patch notes for that. I'm not going to get into the details of it because there are a lot of things they're going to be working on. But a couple of the new things that they are going to be working on, they're going to be working on new versions of every map that are going to be 40% smaller. And it's not, they didn't just, take the map and scale it down by 40%. We kept all counselor stats and Jason abilities and cooldowns the same, but that's about where the similarities end. We didn't simply shrink the map and call it a day. We rebalanced it for smaller maps, changed up the spawn locations, changed where the parts and the cars are, as well as cabins and camps. You will still find the bigger structures in familiar locations, but don't get too comfy. Smaller maps might mean you don't have to hunt too long to find them, but it also means Jason has a smaller area to hunt you. So, you'll be able to find parts for the cars and, flare guns and fireplace pokers to defend yourself, but that also means Jason's going to find you a lot faster. So, you're going to have to work a little bit harder and, maybe not be a piece of shit. Team killing is axed in this newest patch update as well. So, people aren't going to be able to run around and smack you with fireplace pokers if you're another counselor. That's not going to do anything to you anymore. That's just going to be a waste of their ammunition. And then you're both going to die. So, I mean, way to be a douche. Cars will still hurt other counselors, though. So if you are hell-bent on killing another counselor, you can still kill them with a car. If you're one of the people in most places now who play games without a headset, I'm included in that. I don't like talking to anybody anymore. And yet I have this show. If you're like me and you don't like talking to other folks, there's a new way to communicate with other players. It seems like most people kind of make up their own like Morse code with flashlight, more or less, But they're adding character emotes, so you can give like a wave to somebody or like a thumbs up, like an 80s cool guy, and then, you get stabbed in the back of the head and die like an 80s cool guy. I'm not super thrilled about that, but hey, whatever. There is going to be, in addition to the maps and the emotes DLC, there's going to be a new closed pack for the counselors. It's called Spring Break 84. It's going to cost you $4 so that you can be a pervert and see all the teenage lady counselors get killed in bikinis. Because, wow, so we're watching Friday the 13th, right? We want to see 80s teenagers getting killed in skimpy situations, right? It's not because we like the movies. Okay. The physical release of the game will hit the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 appropriately Friday, October the 13th. The game has so far only been released in a digital format. The physical release will cost $39.99, same as digital. It will feature an exclusive bloody Jason skin. It's just Jason, drenched in blood. It's going to have a special DLC pack for the counselors. Digital players will also receive a bloody Jason character skin, but it will be a different bloody Jason than the one that the people who buy the physical copy of the game get. So everybody's going to get their own special thing, which I think is pretty cool. Everybody gets something a little bit different. Like I said, I've included the link for the patch notes, so you guys can check that out for yourself. I'm not going to read them to you. I'm not going to spoon feed you, alright? I'm not Fallout 4. I'm not going to hold your hand. And transitioning into gaming, the 10-year anniversary of BioShock is this year. It's also going to be the 10-year anniversary of Halo 3, and that just blows my freaking mind. It's been a minute, y'all. So, a 10-year BioShock release is going to be available on November 14th. It's only going to be available in the United States, which I thought was strange. It will feature, it's the first BioShock game, not BioShock 2 or BioShock Infinite. You can still pick up those titles in the BioShock collection, or you can use them backwards compatible on your Xbox One. But the 10-year release features all the single-player content and downloadable content. The BioShock Museum, which I know was included in the BioShock collection. It's pretty cool if you've not ever seen that. I don't know where it was if it was available anywhere prior to the BioShock collection, but it's going to be included here as well. There's going to be a special edition, which I'm a little interested in getting, but I'm not nearly as much of a BioShock fan as some people are, so I couldn't justify this purchase. The special edition will feature an 11.9-inch statue, bringing the original cover art of BioShock 1 to life. It's going to be a Big Daddy and a little sister. It's going to have a motorized drill arm, light-up effects, and audio clips from Big Daddy and Little Sister. You can pre-order the game right now. The special edition is only available at GameStop. I'm including a link to an article to give you a little bit more about that. Most of the news that I'm going to be pulling for this show and reading to you guys is going to be available via Bloody Disgusting or Horror Freak News. So plug in them because I'm a shameless dirtbag. So coming up next, we've got Ed Skrein. He was Ajax in Deadpool. Has joined the Hellboy reboot, which I'm not happy about, but Ron Perlman's not upset about it, so I guess I don't have to be either. He's going to be playing Major Ben Diamio, a military member of the BPRD, which is the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense, and his character can turn into a jaguar. So that'll be pretty cool to see. I've included a link to that news article. I mean, that's all there is to that. I don't know why you guys would need the link for that, but more Friday the 13th news. Fans of the series mostly know that the movie was filmed at a camp in New Jersey called Camp Nobibosco. And you can't just go to this camp and tour it and stuff. Like it's not like a public park, it's like a summer camp, stuff like that. You can't just go and just look at it, which I don't think is fair. But for Friday, October the 13th in 2017, they are giving out tickets for super fans. Here's a press release. As with past tours, the number of tickets will be very limited. Every tour attendee needs a ticket, no exceptions. No tickets will be available at the gate at the day of the tour. The tickets will be announced in two groups. Group 1, to show our appreciation for our most dedicated fans, the first group of tickets will be announced made via email that to anyone that has made a minimum $50 purchase in the souvenir shop online between January 1st and 7 a.m. the day the tickets go on sale. And interestingly enough, the $50 minimum does not include shipping. You have to spend $50 actual dollars, shipping not included. Group 2, after that, the remainder of the tickets will be announced to our general mailing list. You can join the mailing list. Please note that the tour announcements will only be made on the mailing list and will not be posted anywhere else. Tickets will go on sale during the week of August 28th. They will be for sale immediately after the announcement email is sent. I'm including a link to that as well because there are links in that posting for you to join the mailing list and the online shop should you feel the need to do so. I mean, I would really love to go do that. That would be a lot of fun, but that's not something I'm going to be able to do, and I'm okay with it. I've made peace with it. Do you guys remember a couple episodes ago, I feel like it might have been the Bye Bye Man episode, I talked about a movie called Wish Upon. It's a movie about this girl who gets this, like, Chinese puzzle music box, and it grants her wishes, but, like, the wishes come with a terrible price, and there's, like, a demon that lives in it, and it's like, once all the wishes are gone, the blood price has been paid, or something stupid. And like that woman got her hair stuck in a disposal and died somehow. Okay. Well, for some reason, this movie's getting a director's cut when it comes to home release, which I'm not super happy about. So here's the here's a little bit about that movie. Joey King must be careful what she wishes for in the thriller Wish Upon. Also starring Ryan Phillippe, Emmy nominee Shannon Purser, Ki Hong Lee, Mitchell Slaggart, Alice Lee, Sidney Park, Kevin Hanchard, Sherilyn Fenn, and Elizabeth Rome. Wish Upon debuts on digital HD, DVD, Blu-ray combo pack, and video on demand on October 10th. The Blu-ray combo pack includes a director's unrated cut featuring footage not seen in the theatrical release. So there's going to be a lot of gore for no reason. Bonus materials include I Wish. The cast share what they would wish for on all formats except video on demand. The Attic Tour with Joey King in all formats except video on demand. A featurette about developing a horror film, which is going to be on the Blu-ray and digital exclusively. And a motion comic, telling the stories of the people who owned the box previously to the characters in the film. That's going to be a Blu-ray and digital exclusive. And like I mentioned a little while ago, there will be a link for that as well. American Horror Story Cult dropped their opening credits and another small little featurette. If you want to check that out, I'm not a big fan of the show, but you know, I know a lot of people are, and that's what this show's about. So I'm going to include a link to that. I watched it. Didn't look too bad. So before we get out of here for the news and head over to the review room, I want to plug one last thing. And there are a couple of things about it that we're going to plug. On September 8th, we will return to a town of yesteryear, a town of innocence of a different time. This is the town of Derry. The feature-length version of It will hit theaters September 8th. I couldn't be more excited for this film. They've been doing a lot of marketing, trailers, the interactive 8-bit game where you gotta navigate Georgie's little paper boat and pop the airplanes. Poor Georgie. There's a VR trailer that you can watch. It's pretty damn cool. But they've also set up a touring haunted house where you go into the house that you've seen focused on in the trailers where It lives. So they've set that up. The facade is gorgeous. It looks like they just pulled the set from the movie and are touring it around the country. It's only going to a few places. None of them are around where I'm located, so that's great. That makes me feel good. So I watched a walkthrough of this house since I'm not going to get to go to it. And this tour, it seemed like it was just like, press people and stuff, because it was a lights on tour, which I think might have had an impact on the way I view this house, because it sucked. It was a suck haunted house. There were a lot of like animatronics that were like clearly animatronic and weren't terrifying. The few actors that they had in there didn't really seem like they were doing a great job, so I was really upset to see that. But that's not going to impact the movie. That's just a thing. Now, I had pulled all of this news I've got one more thing to tell you. I had pulled all of this news a few days ago with the intention of recording then. So there's been a few new things happen this week that I could have talked about or maybe should have talked about. But I'm not going to. It's just easier that way. But something happened yesterday, and then something new spun out of that today. Yesterday, the Alamo Drafthouse Theater announced a clowns-only screening for It on September 7th, the night before the wide release. Which, you might be thinking, well, how can they do that? Well, there are special preview screenings. I mean, I saw Batman v Superman like 2 days before it actually came out. So, there's just special preview screenings. They usually sell out. It's just a way to kind of gauge the weekend, before the weekend actually comes, I think. But it's a one-night only screening, and you have to show up dressed as a clown. And they said there's going to be like photo booths, and they're just going to kind of build just a general clowny atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So I think that sounds awesome. I would love to go see It in a theater full of clowns. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds horrible. It sounds absolutely horrible. But I think it would be a lot of fun to go check that out. So Alamo Drafthouse announced that. Like I said, it was going to be a one-night only screening, and you have to be dressed as a clown. You cannot get in if you aren't dressed as a clown. It's dress code. You got to adhere to the dress code. Well, today, the American Association of Colorophobes, which I didn't know was a thing, started a petition, most likely on change.org, because that's the only place where anybody starts petitions anymore. Started a petition asking fans to boycott the event, stating, I'm pulling this from horrorfreaknews.com, stating, this event was clearly designed to oppress good Americans with a legitimate fear of clowns. Colorophobia is a real affliction, and events like the one being produced by the Alamo Drafthouse will have negative repercussions. Events like this encourage the epidemic of clown stalking and harassment that began in 2016 and will surely continue with Halloween approaching. Not to mention this hideous movie It by that sadist Stephen King. Okay, I didn't read this far into this quote, so I wasn't aware that he said that Stephen King was a sadist. That's hilarious. The man responsible for causing an outbreak of colorophobia in the 1980s. Oh yeah, that was his fault. Totally his fault. People aren't, naturally afraid of clowns for good reason. It's not like they are just naturally terrifying, and just everything about clowns is horrible. All of it. Everything about it. I am not afraid of them, but I completely get it. They're horrible. Everything about them is horrible. They're fucking, their shoes and their face and their pants and their no, dude. Just no, alright? You're not funny. You're not wacky. You're just wrong. Everything about you is wrong. You should stop it. Okay? Clowns should be banned. Hashtag ban clowns 2017. The Alamo should be ashamed, and we're asking all people of good conscience to unite against this dangerous and un-American event. So, some folks who are afraid of clowns, with good reason, have decided to band together and bitch up a storm at some people who are just trying to have some fun. I think that those people need to shut up. It's not necessarily going to encourage anything, I don't think. It's just a movie, and it's just some people trying to have a good time. Let them do it. They're just getting dressed up to go to the movies and get scared. Stop being a bitch, you punk. Okay, and with that out of the way, that was the news for this week, and now it's time to get into the good stuff. Now that we've got into the review room, let's cover You Can't Kill Stephen King. Now, with this being the new format, I'm not going to go into detail nearly as much as I had with the previous show. I'm gonna cover the movie beginning to end, but not in super detail. That's going to be at a later time. So, how many references do you want to make in one movie? You Can't Kill Stephen King is a very, very low-budget horror movie, and that's part of the charm of this movie. It's obviously intended to parody most horror movies. It's not, it's not bad because it's low budget or anything like that. It's not bad because it's not bad. It's not a bad movie. I really enjoyed this one for once. It's just, it had a low budget. The effects aren't super great, but they did a really good job with everything that they had. Everything that they could work with, I feel like they did a good job. The guys who wrote this movie are clearly big fans of Stephen King, as most people should be. Everybody should be. Everyone should be. I'm not gonna falter on that one. Everybody should be a big fan of his. But if you check out the trailer, which I'll link to. If you check out the trailer, the trailer sets it up for you to understand that this is a joke. This movie's supposed to be taken lightly. It's not supposed to be a serious thing or anything like that. You know, they point out, you know, stupid teenagers and like obligatory references and weird, creepy people in town and stuff like that. You know, this movie's very self-aware. And I think that because of that, you can come away with a better appreciation of the movie for what it actually is, instead of just being like, oh, this movie's dumb and it sucks and it's not good. So anyway, this film was written by Monroe Mann, Ronnie Khalil, and Bob Medea. It was directed by Ronnie Khalil, Monroe Mann, and Jorge Valdez Iga. And it stars Monroe Mann and Ronnie Khalil. So they wrote, directed, and starred in this movie. They aren't the only people in this movie, but I didn't take notes of the other people in this film for some reason. This movie came out in 2012. It was the People's Choice Best Feature Film Award at the Lewiston Auburn Film Festival, and it won that award back in 2012. The synopsis states, a group of friends visit a lake where horror author Stephen King lives and start getting killed off one at a time. This guy and his sister are taking a bunch of friends up to a lake house for the weekend. Stephen King happens to live there, around in the surrounding area, and they bring this super creepy dude with them, who's the big King fan and stuff, and his intention is to go meet Stephen King and just fanboy all over him. The film currently sits at a 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb, which I do not think is fair at all. I don't think people totally understand what this film is supposed to be. But like I said, if you check out the trailer and you understand going in that this movie, it's a joke. It's just a silly thing. You know, it's not supposed to be taken serious. If you go in with that knowledge, I think you will come away better, having a better appreciation. So the film opens up. Everybody's riding around in this van, and we get freeze frame on everybody. Everybody gets a little bit of dialogue. Then we freeze frame, kind of like they did in Suicide Squad, where you see the character doing a little bit. And then you get a little bit of the dossier that Amanda Waller had, giving you just a little bit about everybody. So we've got Lamont, who is the token black friend, expert navigator, and he loves white girls. Ronnie, the king junkie, porn enthusiast, and creepy virgin. Nicole, the attention whore, self-centered coquette with a great pair of personality. Hillary, the bratty sister of Monroe, a know-it-all, and a black hole of fun. Lori, the forsaken girlfriend of Monroe, with dreams of motherhood, and another great pair of, and it like stops because it's like, the guy doing them got caught, or just like, just got distracted by staring at her boobs, because it's funny. See, that's the point. It's supposed to be stupid. And then you've got Monroe, a shell-shocked Iraq veteran, a pasty white boy, and a pussy-whipped boyfriend. So after driving around for a little bit, they cut to a dinner. Nope, no they didn't. After driving around a little bit, they stop at a diner, and they make a joke here that the restaurant just says restaurant on the sign. And everybody's like, why is it just called restaurant? Do they just have, like, food? Because in a lot of horror movies, and a lot of movies in general, you just see generic stuff like that. Like, in Green Lantern, there's a moment on a college campus where they go to a building that is labeled on the side, Science Building. Like, no, dude, no. Nowhere is like that. But, it's just, this movie picks fun at goofy stuff like that. And their waitress, this was funny for me as a wrestling fan, her name was Dee, and then the letter P. An obvious reference to the wrestler Diamond Dallas Page, who was known as DDP. I thought that was hilarious. So, she's creepy, and she tells everybody that King doesn't live in town anymore. So they leave, try to go rent a boat to get to the cabin. After haggling a little bit with the guy, he gets him a boat. The boat is another obvious nod to King's work. So Lamont leaves everybody to go get gas in the van. This sets up the rest of the crew for a boating montage with lame mid-2000s rock and bikinis, because yay. But oh no, the fun is cut short when Ronnie throws up on Nicole's foot. So after a little bit, they drop Ronnie off at the dock. He goes up into the cabin. It wasn't totally clear to me at the time whether or not this was like King's house or if this was the cabin they were going to. But I will tell you here now, this was the cabin they were going to. They drop him off, cut to another boat montage, cut to Lamont looking for the gas station, get a short silly scene of him not being able to figure out where he's going, cut back to the boat, and we get a recycled shot here, which I thought was funny. Cut back to Ronnie, he's reading in the house, and then we get back to Lamont, who has found civilization. Back to the boat, the crew's made it back to the lake house. And then Lamont's at the gas station, he sees some weird, shining kids. Just gonna, give you guys that one. And then Lamont gets dead. Back at the cabin, Monroe and Lori play strip poker while Hillary is a dick and Ronnie reads books. They all decide to play Never Have I Ever, and then lesbian stuff ensues. Hooray, lesbians! The crew decides to go looking for Lamont. Ronnie explores the basement, and it's full of Stephen King books. I'm talking like my parents' library of Stephen King books, full. So that's funny because my parents have all of his books. You guys would know that if you'd ever seen it. You'd come back to the alley with me like I had asked. So, back at the rental dock, the crew decides to see if Lamont had stopped by. Creepy boat guys, no help. So they go out looking for him. They eventually find the gas station, much faster than Lamont did. And it's full of cops. Cops tell the crew that Lamont is dead. Is dead. Monroe sees the creepy gas station dude. There was a creepy gas station guy. I don't know why I didn't mention him in my notes. When identifying Lamont's remains and questions how or anything he didn't. Nope. Monroe sees a creepy gas station attendant when identifying Lamont's remains and questions how he didn't see or hear anything when Lamont was, quote, attacked by a wolf, which is what the police had told him. Now, this whole time, Lamont's been blasting super loud music the whole time we see him in the movie, so he blames his loud music. So then the crew's on the boat trying to figure out what the next move is. They get back to the lake house, tell Ronnie that Lamont is dead. Everyone's all sad. And Ronnie tries to get his freak on Nicole while she's all sad and crying. This dude's creepy. Unnecessarily creepy. Or, needlessly creepy. But that's the joke, It's just part of the joke. Ronnie goes to apologize to Monroe. No. Ronnie goes to apologize while Monroe is talking to Nicole. She sees Monroe coming and kisses Monroe to get Ronnie to leave. Everything falls apart here. And everyone's mad at everybody. Lori's a total dick. Walks out into total darkness in the woods alone like a dumb shit. Cut to Lori alone in the woods, and we all know it, she gonna get dead. She screams, the crew runs to go find her, but they're too late. Monroe's PTSD kicks in, and he sends Hillary and Nicole back into the cabin, and he's gonna fight whatever is outside. So this will happen to him a couple times in the movie. He will go into super soldier mode, which isn't how people who deal with traumatic experiences work. That's not how they do that. I mean, some people maybe, I guess, but generally not. He doesn't find anything, brings Lori back to the cabin, says he's going to bury her, and then he goes to get a shovel. Ronnie comes into the barn to see what Monroe is up to. Ronnie agrees to help bury Lori. The guys get back to the house. They question Ronnie, thinking he might have had something to do with Lori's dying. Ronnie reveals to the girls that Monroe thinks that there's a killer. Monroe didn't want to tell him. He didn't want to freak the girls out any more than they already were. So now everybody freaks out. Ronnie starts piecing together that maybe the deaths of Lori and Lamont are connected or something, basing the different aspects and the details of their killings to the way characters have died in King's work. Nicole freaks out and leaves. Monroe theorizes that they're being killed because they're too loud and disturbing the peace, citing that earlier in the film there was a boat cop who had stopped them for causing a lot of trouble and being loud out on the lake. Lamont's music was super loud. Maybe that's what got him killed. The diner was super quiet early in the movie. Everything is real quiet. Everything is real easy, So they're thinking that maybe if they're causing a disturbance, these townspeople are murdering them to help keep the peace. So Hillary goes and has a talk with Nicole, and Nicole tries to take a shower, try and relax, and porn music ensues. But oh no, it seems like there's a creeper near the shower. Nicole freaks out, runs into Hillary. Monroe goes outside to investigate. Turns out it was Ronnie creeping on the window. He says he was peeing. Everybody's grossed out because he's creepy. And then, I didn't put it in my notes when it started happening because I didn't know if this was going to be like a quirk or something. But dude keeps sniffing his hand for some reason during the movie. I can't figure out why, and it's disgusting. It is just gross. Hillary and Nicole talk to each other. Nicole doesn't want to stay there. She looks out the window to see how far the boat is. She's going to go get in the boat and leave. And she's greeted by Lamont's head on a spike. The girls run up to Monroe. Hillary grabs a knife and turns it on Ronnie because he's all creepy. Here he admits that he was watching Nicole shower. Monroe tells him not to leave their sight and then tells him to stop sniffing his hand because it's creepy. Everybody hates it. I don't know why he did that. So Monroe sets a plan to stay until the morning and then go find the cops. Here everyone is asleep except for Nicole, and Ronnie starts to dream. Now this is one of the weirdest dream sequences I've ever seen in a film, and I really wish I didn't have to relive it, but I am a public servant. I have to relive it so that you can experience it. In this dream, he's Danny from The Shining. He's on a tricycle with the hair and the little overalls and stuff, and he's watching, I can't remember which hotel room it was, the old lady from The Shining that Jack saw and was like, super hot, and then turned out she was a old dead ghost lady. So he's watching the shower scene, and it interchanges between Hillary, Nicole, and Lori. Super gross considering that Lori just died, but whatever. So he sees them in the shower. They get out of the shower, and then they just kind of stand there all wet and glistening, like, look at my body, or something. So when it stops on Nicole, he gets up and goes to kiss her, and it changes, mirroring what happens in The Shining. Instead of it changing into one of them being dead, it changes to Lamont in clown makeup and clown suit, referencing Pennywise. And then Lamont's butt starts talking to Ronnie in a mirror, and he starts talking about floating, and Ronnie wakes up shouting red rum, which, another Shining reference. Everyone wakes up. Nicole's gone. Hillary and Monroe find the front doors open and go after Nicole heading for the boat, but Ronnie wants to stay inside because he doesn't want to get murdered. They get to the dock, and the boat is gone, but Nicole didn't take it because she's dead on the beach. Ronnie talks about another king death mirroring Nicole's. Hillary goes in defense mode, accusing him of killing all of their friends. Hillary says that she'll kill Ronnie if he comes near her again. Monroe doesn't believe Ronnie either, so they start to interrogate him at the house. After questioning him, Monroe seems to believe Ronnie, so they decide to set up a trap the killer. They agree that staging a scene from one of King's books is the best way to go about it, and they make up a plan in a barn mirroring a scene from Night Shift. Seeing as to how they don't trust Ronnie, they decide to tie him to a chair in the basement. Ronnie says that he knows who the killer is and decides to blame it on King, because who else would know the details of all of his books like that? So Monroe and Hillary go outside to set up a trap for the killer. Hillary starts playing loud heavy metal on a radio, and anytime the killer shows up, there's like these little whisper noises. So they show up, and she's yelling at the killer, trying to make as much noise as possible, playing off of the noise theory. Back at the house, Ronnie tries to escape and hears footsteps up above him in the house and falls over in his chair. Back in the barn, Monroe sees someone heading for Hillary. The killer and Hillary have a knife fight. Monroe runs up the ladder to help her, but Hillary falls to her death before he can save her, which made me really sad. I really liked Hillary. She was cool. Monroe grabs a pitchfork and is attacked by the killer. During the fight, he knocks the killer's glasses off. Goes to make his final blow on the killer, but is stopped by Ronnie, because Ronnie is playing off of the theory that it's Stephen King. So Ronnie tells Monroe he can't let him kill King. They fight. Ronnie rolls onto some bubble wrap, which re-triggers Monroe's PTSD, allowing him to get away to find an air horn to defend himself. Monroe goes into army mode and starts to hunt Ronnie. So Ronnie uses the air horn as well as, generic military dialogue. They're here, they're there, fire this, fire that, just generic battle stuff that you would hear. Which I gotta say is super fucked up to do to your friend. But at the same time, he's trying to kill you. So, I guess you gotta kind of do whatever you can to get away. During the confusion, Ronnie grabs a shovel to attack Monroe, but it doesn't work. Monroe stops him, grabs the shovel and goes to kill Ronnie, but is instead killed by the unknown killer. The killer stands above Ronnie, shushing him before fading to black. Back at the restaurant, a new group of kids have shown up asking about where Stephen King lives. Here we find out that goes through like a series of cuts through everybody in the town. Everybody they encountered the way I interpreted it anyway, everybody they encountered were part of the murders. Everybody that they, like the old lady in the diner, the creepy boat guy, the cop, they had all participated in murdering everybody at some point. And, well, we'll save that for the movie. And then we see Ronnie has become one of the new cops in town. He tells the kids in the diner the same line that they were fed by the cop. He says, "We've got a nice quiet town here. We need to keep it that way." Credits. Final thoughts. It's a fairly entertaining movie for being super low budget, bursting at the seams with jokes and references. It's a great watch for King fans. If you're a fan of Stephen King's work, you should check this out. It's just packed to the brim with jokes and references and stuff. There's Christine jokes, there's Shining jokes, there's It jokes, there's Dark Tower jokes, there might be some Cujo stuff in there. They talk about some of his work in the movie that some people may not be completely familiar with, who just know his stuff based off the movies and TV shows and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a fun way to kill an hour and 20 minutes. It's just an hour and 20 minutes. You got nothing going on. Check it out. The movie is available on iTunes for $12.99 to own, $4.99 to rent. It's available on Google Play for $9.99 to own and $3.99 to rent. And at the time of this recording, if you have a Vudu account, which I feel like a lot of people might, if you redeem the digital codes that you get with your Blu-ray DVD digital combo pack, like I do, then you have a Vudu account. If you redeem your movies through Vudu, you can also do it through like iTunes and Google Play and stuff like that. But if you have a Vudu account, if not, it's free. It's available to watch on Vudu for free with ad breaks. The ad breaks on Vudu aren't great. They take place at weird times and they're not always great, but it's free, so don't complain. So there it is, guys. I encourage you to give that movie a shot. Coming up next time for the standard review for the show, not the exclusive reviews for the show. Standard review for the show is going to be a movie that is near and dear to my heart called Funland. Now, I'm not going to talk a whole too much about the movie now because I'm going to rant and rave next time. But be prepared. That's all I'm going to say. So, until then, I hope you enjoyed the time we spent together. I know I enjoyed the time we spent together. Until next week, keep your S-foils locked into attack position.